People say that Hong Kong is the land of opportunities. If you work hard, anything is possible. But today, the younger generation has found that hard work does not necessarily result in better fortune or a better life. Their income has barely increased and grows slower compared with the previous generations, while housing prices never cease to rise.
In this month's Hong Kong Enquirer, we take a look at the younger generation and their struggle to climb up the social ladder in one of Asia's richest cities.
Every year, roughly 20,000 youngsters in Hong Kong graduate from local universities holding different degrees. Competition is getting fiercer, finding a job with decent pay is getting harder and harder. Tim Lei holds a sub-degree in tourism. A sub-degree is inferior to a university degree, but hundreds of thousands of Hong Kong youngsters who did not qualify for university have taken the program. While only 20% of them get the chance to transfer to universities, the rest enter the job market hoping to differentiate themselves from high school graduates. Lei study curriculums such as marketing, business management, human resources, and so on.
因為我啱畢業一入去咁，希望都係唔會要求太高㗎啦，希望萬一啊或者1萬左右就 OK 㗎啦，係啦。而家香港嗰啲環境真係好嘅生活，你起碼去到兩萬咯，至少以呢個年輕人先至可以真正話滿足好多嘅物質嘅需要咯。
In Hong Kong, where local graduates have to compete with global top talent, having a sub-degree is not considered an edge. According to local think tank New Year Forum, which conducted research on salary levels of graduates, the median monthly salary of sub-degree holders, factoring in inflation, has decreased by 17.4% from 20 years ago. During the same period of time, the median monthly salary of university degree holders increased by 9.3%. But even for degree holders, that growth was far behind the growth of general consumer goods, and particularly the housing costs. Earning 10,000 Hong Kong dollars as a starting salary for the first job is not a whole lot, considering that now the average monthly rent for a 40 square meter apartment is roughly 14,000 Hong Kong dollars. Lei lives with his family, just like a lot of young people do, to save money.
梗係起碼5年或者10年，起碼可以去到2萬幾咯。5年就真係未必得，我覺得10年我都有信心嘅。呢前景其實真係好擔心。而家學歷通脹咗，或者啲大學生、大專生嗰啲根本就唔吃香啦。
Nearly 45% of the sub-degree holders in Hong Kong are currently working in low-skill positions, such as clerical support workers, service and sales workers, or other elementary occupations, jobs that they are overqualified for. Compared with 20 years ago, about a third of the sub-degree holders work in low-skill jobs. Degree holders are much better off, but there's also an increasing proportion of them doing low-skill jobs, from 8.5% in 1995 to 15.4% in 2015.
啱啱讀完書冇耐，出嚟做一份 part time， 咁身邊啲朋友就哇好犀利喎，揾到份 part time 就35蚊一個鐘，因為以前講緊嘅可能係20幾蚊一個鐘嘅啫嘛。咁好啦，咁多年之後，嗰間鋪頭到依家都仲係35蚊個鐘。
25-year-old Vince Lee works as a bartender at night. During the daytime, he runs his own clothing brand. Originally, he had 2 friends who worked with him on the brand. They rented the store for 7,000 Hong Kong dollars a month. But business was not good enough. His friends gave up. He stopped renting the store and moved his business online.
我依家 bartender 嗰度13000蚊左右啦。咁賣衫其實好季節性嘅，好數2-3萬都試過，都可以。冬天、夏天2-3千咯，一個月係啦。
Lee is a high school graduate. After that, he got a diploma in aircraft engineering and another one in discipline service, both suggested by his parents. but he wasn't interested in working in any of these areas.
時下嘅年青人都會好迷茫，我覺得迷茫出到嚟唔知邊一份工或者唔知做啲乜嘢能夠有將來。講緊嘅將來唔係我揾10100一個月或者20000一個月能夠去 afford 到，好22、23歲仲 OK 我覺得，但係當可能當你話即係做一份工，你又冇晉升機會，前景又唔係話特別好，可能打一世都係嗰個 position 嘅時候，好多人就會諗呢樣嘢咯，我會覺得係。
Statistics show salaries have been growing slower among college graduates, and it corroborates people's feeling in recent years that young people's upward social mobility has slowed down. And that's in contrast to the Lion Rock spirit, which is the equivalent of the American dream in the United States. Hong Kong people have believed that as long as you work hard, you rise from the grassroots to become an elite and have a better life.
有啲人會覺得係咪我哋經濟好差咧？咁所以搞到啲年青人冇乜出路，冇乜報酬咧咁樣。咁香港嘅狀況就好明顯唔係嘅，即係過去10年，其實我哋嘅 GDP 嘅實質增長係15%。如果你睇香港政府嘅財政儲備，而家已經去到8500幾億。個 wage index 其實喺過去10年咧，只係增長咗0.3個百分點。10年前咧，我哋嘅利得稅嘅收入大概係700億度，而家嘅利得稅嘅收入咧，最新嘅數字咧就係1380億，即係又翻咗一番。而家好明顯就係你人力嘅資產咧，嗰個回報嘅速度係慢過一啲金融或者係土地或者樓市嘅資產嘅回報嘅速度，而且慢好多。
And that is why Mr. Wong told me that a lot of Hong Kong people have strived to purchase property if their financial situation allows, because that property assets define how capable they are to make more money. But most youngsters coming from underprivileged or even middle-class families just cannot save enough for their exorbitant property prices, or they end up having to scrimp on other expenditures, paying for mortgages at the expense of their living standards.
Otherwise, one can only rely on his own capability, namely his knowledge, skills, education background, etc. But Mr. Wong said young people who only rely on their capability are at a disadvantage as they face lots of hurdles that they can't really control themselves.
始終想正正經經去學 fashion design， 好想嘅，咁但係就我覺得仲未係時候。始終我依家有一份工，咁我自己又搬咗出嚟住，咁我使費大咗啦，咁即係我想 keep 住儲下錢先。咁你始終讀書你學費都唔係平。
It's not just a matter of high living costs in Hong Kong, but what industry one enters. Tourism major Lei is worried that Hong Kong's tourism industry does not fare well in the years ahead.
而家香港嘅旅遊業萎縮緊啦，係啦。香港始終真係細，得地方好細啦，同埋已發展嘅嘢，早喺10幾年前發展，而家只係消耗緊。好似呢10年以內，除咗10年前嘅迪士尼之外，其實基本上好似冇咩增加咗好多新嘅景點，除咗啟德一啲設施之外，但係其他地區發展得好厲害啊，例如上海迪士尼嗰啲，所以咪相比之下，咪香港變得好似不進則退咁咯。
What we've got in Hong Kong right now, we have a really solid foundation in real estate, finance, logistics, and tourism industry. If you look at their performance in the last few years, especially in finance industry, you'll be surprised, how limited it is in terms of growth in this industry.
This is Marcus Orr. After graduation, he worked in an audit firm for about a year, but then he quit and became the co-founder of a tech startup. The company provides the technology of virtual reality for the real estate industry so that potential homebuyers can look at properties without actually being there.
Research shows that there's a huge market values coming up for VR. Solely in China, there will be 5.5 billion in VR markets, and real estate will account for 7% of it. In startups, you're involved in multiple aspects of a company. You're no longer only a small part of an engine, you're in fact the engine. It's better in terms of career building.
In recent years, there's been a boom of startup culture in Hong Kong and an increasing number of startups sprung up among college students and graduates, vying for all sorts of government and private funding. Will running a startup or working in the tech industry help increase the chance of climbing up the social ladder in Hong Kong?
租金太貴咧，創業咧其實變咗年青人就會要好大嘅 risk 咯，因為你掉好多錢落去，但係 eventually 可能你半年之後要執笠咁樣。我哋而家需要做嘅就係所謂 create successful experience， 唔係 create failure。咁所以創業好多 debate 喺度嘅。我並唔係覺得唔應該而係要做，譬如要做嘅就係要諗下點樣幫佢哋 contain 嘅 risk。
We were fortunate enough to have 5 million of angel investment round back in November 2015. Since then, we have been approaching real estate developers, negotiating with them, and sending them quotations. And we are confident that we'll make a profit by the end of next year, and hopefully we'll achieve a 8-digit turnovers in the next 2 years.
Not everyone is suitable to run a startup, and Lei is considering other alternatives.
我自己創業嗰方面，我自己就我而家冇可能做到啦。同埋真係或者離開香港，或者係去內地啊、去台灣啊啲發展咯。
The government has hammered out measures that help young people financially and provide alternatives, such as building youth residences that's below the market price, providing funding for startups, etc. They might help at some level, but social scientists warn of young people losing hope of their own future and losing hope with the future of the city. And more needs to be done to help youngsters.